Hey, welcome to Maximum Bat Speed. I want to do this video for you to show you what is starting to occur in softball more and more. Now, there's been an evolution of the softball swing now going on now for quite a few years now. I've seen it probably in the last 5 years more so. And that is you're starting to see that softball players are starting to have more efficient swings or more of a similar swing that what you see in the Major League Baseball, in the MLB. Now, for those of you who follow the MLB or follow my videos on YouTube on the MLB, you will see that the Major League Baseball players have pretty much all have a very similar baseball mechanics when it comes to the toe touch, where they'll have that shoulder to shoulder to elbow look. They'll have a lot of torque. They'll have great hand path. They'll use their lower body correctly, and they'll be able to do a lot of similar things. Now in softball, unfortunately, that is not the case. It is difficult actually for me as an instructor, as a coach, to find videos many times that I'm looking for to help you and my audience, softball parents, softball coaches, and players, to show you what a great elite swing looks like. Okay, now this video right here, I'm just going to just show you a few swings and just explain to you what's going on here and the similarities. And again, this is starting to become more of a regular thing that I'm seeing. And again, I believe the reason why is because of YouTube, channels like mine, and there's a lot of other channels out there with great coaches out there that really understand about torque, resistance, separation, hand path, weight transfer, you name it. And I'm just so glad to see that there's coaches out there that are teaching sound fundamentals. Now let's get started here. Now the thing I want to really focus on right here again is just some of the things that you see in the Major League Baseball that you're starting to see more again in softball. So as we get going here, watch what's going on with this player here. Okay, as she starts to get into her forward move, you can see how her back elbow is going to start working up, back, and behind her. Okay, you see that? And you can see right here she's at toe touch, and it's very obvious that at this stage of her swing right now she has a shoulder to elbow look where her shoulders are pointing to the second baseman. Okay, she has kind of a slightly bent arm right here. This is what you see. Again, it's very common to see this kind of stuff in the Major League Baseball. If I go straight down just like this, you're going to see that her hands are pretty much directly over her back foot. You're going to see her bat about a 45-degree angle. And again, what you usually see, if the catcher had her glove up right here, it'd be pretty much pointing to the glove of the catcher. Now, this is again very common what you see, or what you should see, in an elite swing. Another thing that's going on right here, for those of you out there who like to study swings, most players in the major leagues, what you see, they're pretty much about 60% of their height. This is exactly what you see right here with this player, about 60% of her height. Now, this is not quite direct opposite side batter's box view, but from her eye down to her belt buckle, she has a line like this. It's not up and down, and it's definitely, you don't want it like this. You want it pretty much going from right to left, from the eye going down to the belt buckle like this. Okay, this shows that she's getting a lot of torque, a lot of separation. Now, if we go further on with this video right here, I'm going to show you a few other things that this player's doing right here that you see in the major leagues. Now, watch what's going on right here as she gets into her heel plant. As she gets into her heel plant, you can see that she's still applying great torque, great separation. See how her elbow still stays up? Again, watch what's going on with this player right here. And again, when you do this, watch your back elbow. In other words, it's not dropping down to the side of her rib cage. That's what you see at lower levels. The elbow starts to leak, and when you do that, you're depriving yourself of separation, you're depriving yourself of a great hand path, and you're depriving yourself of power. Now again, you can see here, and it's crucial to understand this, if you want to get your swing to a higher level, the better you apply what this young lady's doing, just like she's doing. This is very elite right here. You're going to have a greater opportunity to control your momentum. You're going to have a greater opportunity to just have tremendous bat speed through the ball and let your hand path go right around the corner of the deltoid. And by that I mean this. Okay, watch what's going on right here. You can see how her shoulders are right here, and you can see that her bat path is right here. Okay, so in other words, you can see how her hands right there and where her forearm is going around the corner of the deltoid. This gives you a great hand path to give you the opportunity to be able to hit pretty much any pitch that comes your way as long as you time it correctly. Now another thing that's going on with her swing right here is this, and I bring this up in my videos all the time, and you see this consistently in the major leagues, but you don't see it enough when it comes to softball, especially at lower levels, and sometimes even in college softball, even at the highest levels of college softball. Now watch what's going on with her elbow. You see how the elbow starts to work up to the height of the mouth, the bat starts to loop down, and you can see here she's getting a tight inside pitch, and then she's able to hit right here. Watch how the barrel stays below the hands, barrel still below the hands, and watch this beautiful extension here. This right here is such an elite extension right here. Even on a tight inside pitch right here, everything is just working up in an orbit right here. This is just beautiful right here. Now again, I'm showing you this video here to show you what should occur and what you don't see enough of in softball. So let's go on to another player now. Alright, now so if we go to another player here, now watch what's going on with this player here. Now she starts to get into her forward move. You're going to see very similar mechanics that what I just showed you in the previous hitter. Okay, now watch what's going on right here. As she starts to get into her forward move, watch her back elbow. Watch how her back elbow starts to work up, back, and behind her. This is just beautiful mechanics right here. You can see how she's getting a lot of torque, a lot of separation. You see that? Now right here she's at toe touch, and you can see, just like I mentioned with the other player, you can see here at this stage of the swing she has a shoulder to elbow look right here. Again, showing me she's getting great separation, great torque, and again she has a slightly bent arm right here. And again, this is not quite direct opposite side batter's box view, but her hands right now are directly over her back foot right here. She has about 60% of her height right here. And again, the reason I'm showing you this is because I'm very passionate as a coach, and this is why I created my YouTube channels, because I want you coaches or you parents out there to hopefully learn from these videos so that you can start applying these particular mechanics to your child or to your player, so they can start having the mechanics that you see in the major leagues. Because I'm telling you, more and more females, more and more softball players are starting to have the same kind of a look that you see in the major leagues. And this is what I've been striving for years, to get softball players to start applying the mechanics that you see in the major leagues. And again, just like I mentioned, watch the bat angle right there. And again, if I go all the way down like this, just like I said, the bat's about a 45-degree angle behind her. And again, you can see how the bat angle would be pointing pretty much to the catcher's glove. Now if we go further here with this particular player right here, again, watch what's going on. Just like the other player, you can see here as she gets into her heel plant, her elbow is still up, just like you see with Major League Baseball players, and the hands are still back by the back foot. Because they're applying great torque, get great separation, and again, as she continues to swing, watch how the elbow's still up. In other words, it's not dropping down by the rib cage because of the resistance, the torque, and everything that's going on right here. And again, you can see here, just like I mentioned earlier, and again, now this is pretty much at heel plant, but you can see again about 60% of the height. You can see that that's very similar mechanics from the previous player. Again, very similar to what you see in the major leagues. And you can see here with her shoulders, even at heel plant right here, that her shoulders are still closed. They're not opened up. And this is what you see in the major leagues. And again, I want my students, I want my softball players that I work with to have these kind of mechanics, because the more you have these kind of mechanics, this is going to create, again, beautiful hand path. It's going to create more of an opportunity for you to get drafted, to get picked up by great colleges, especially if you start at a young age, and you can start having a lot of players go places where you get showcased. Believe me, I truly believe you'll have a great opportunity, especially as a softball player, to get recruited. Now watch what's going on here again with the hand path right here. You can see here the hands are going around the corner of the deltoid. Again, this is a great hand path right here, and this is what you saw in the previous player. The hands go around the corner of the deltoid, and you do not see the elbow creeping underneath the hands. And again, you can see here what's going on right here. Same as the other player. And again, this is what I teach. And if you bought my Build Your Swing plan, you know how I emphasize these kind of mechanics. Elbow up by the height of the mouth, forearm below the hands, and then the barrel below the hands. I do not see the barrel below the hands in enough players when I'm watching them at lower levels, and they're flipping through the ball, they're not extending through the ball, and they end up having a lot of ground outs and a lot of pop-ups. And you can see here, watch how her hips right here are squared up to the pitcher, where her belt buckle's right there pointing to the pitcher. And again, you can see these kind of angles right here where the foot is up. In other words, there's no flexion in her back foot. She's releasing her hips, therefore giving you a greater opportunity to use the lower body correctly, and being able to have more opportunity for higher slugging percentage and more home runs. This is what you see at the higher levels. Now let's go to another player. Now if we go to this player right here, now watch what's going on right here. Now you can see here how symmetrical she is at her setup. Beautiful setup. The hands are right there perfectly set. You can see here that her sequence is beautiful right here, just like you see in the major leagues. And again, this is just something I do not see enough of. Now she gets into her back hip socket beautifully right there, keeping the knee inside of the ankles. Again, like I mentioned in my Build Your Swing plan. And again, you can see here how she starts to walk away from the hands. Now watch what's going on with her back elbow. Now she doesn't get her back elbow quite as high as I would like, but watch what's going on with it. It's working back and behind her as the bat starts to slot into this 45-degree angle. Watch what's going on. See how the back elbow's working back and behind her? So right here, she gets into her toe touch right here, and you can see here again, just like I mentioned to you, she's not as high as I would like it to get, but she's getting great separation right here. You can see here where her shoulders are right here, and again, her elbows dropped a little bit, and this again is acceptable. Ideally, I would like it to be a little higher, but you can see here she's getting great separation. I love her angles right here, how she has a slightly bent arm, and if you go straight down, just like you see with the other players, she has her hands pretty much right over her back foot. She's about 60% of her height. Again, this is more and more common what you're seeing in elite softball. Now, again, these players right here that I'm showing you, they all play at the highest level, and believe me, I believe that all of you out there watching these videos out there have the potential to get here. Now, some of you might need help either watching my videos, and believe me, these videos that I show you on YouTube, they're free, and I get lots of emails. I get lots of phone calls from parents, from coaches, from people telling me how much my videos have helped me. Then if people want to take it to another level, they want online video analysis, they buy my video. And I always tell them that that's not necessary, but it's there in case you want to get to another level of understanding as far as knowing what's going on with your swing. I'm available for online video analysis, and again, my Build Your Swing Plan video, it gives you a sequential manner of how I build a swing when I'm working with students. Now again, you can see right here what's going on with the bat right here. Now this catcher has her hands down right now, but you can see how the bat is doing the same thing as the other player. Now it's very important to understand again that if you want to play at the highest levels, these mechanics that I'm showing you are becoming more and more common. Don't be left behind, and apply some of the squish the bug stuff that you hear a lot of coaches still teaching, and then slotting the elbow down. A lot of coaches don't like the elbow down. Believe me, I've been coaching now for almost 30 years, and I'm telling you, it creates more separation, it creates more power, more torque, it creates a better hand path. Now watch what's going on with her. See how the back goes around the corner of her deltoid? And watch her back foot right here. Watch what's going on with her back foot. And again, this is all a cause and effect by just allowing yourself to keep your knee inside of your ankle, and then from there the hips square up. And again, watch her back foot. Amazing. The elbow starts working up to the height of the mouth, and the barrel below the hands. This again is very common in the major leagues, and again is starting to become more prevalent in softball. And I love this because I want softball players to be able to compete at the highest levels where they're hitting the ball literally 350, 400 feet. And believe me, I truly believe that women have the power to do that, but their mechanics are really holding them back. Now let's go to another player here. Now we have Sierra Romero right here, and again, many of you who watch my videos, you know that I've analyzed her swing before, but again, you know that she did great when she played for Michigan and just has a lot of torque, a lot of separation, and again, just like I mentioned, watch her symmetry with her body, how it is, what you see in the major leagues. Watch how her sequence is really nice and how she gets into that back hip socket and how symmetrical she is going back. And then as she starts to get into her back hip socket, her hands drop right there by the back of her, right there by the back of her foot. And now again, if you can see here, if you were to go down from her hands, and this is not quite direct opposite side batter's box view, you can see right here she does a beautiful job of keeping her hands right here, right there by her back foot. And again, this is not quite direct opposite side batter's box view, but you can see here, and watch what's going on right here as I draw a circle pretty much around her hands right here. You can see here as she starts to move forward right here, you can see she pretty much leaves her hands there. She walks away from the hands, and you can see how her back elbow works back and behind her. And again, this is very common of what you see in the major leagues. Again, watch what's going on. She leaves her hands there, she walks away from the hands, and her back elbow's working back and behind her. Now again, you can see here with Sierra, she gets into her toe touch, and again, just like the other players, a shoulder to shoulder to elbow look. She has a slightly bent arm right here, and again, just like I mentioned, her hands are right there by her back foot, and again, the bat's about a 45-degree angle, would be pointing right down pretty much to the catcher's glove. Okay, you don't want the bat casting off, and again, about 60% of the height right here. Beautiful job right here, just a beautiful job, just like what you see in the major leagues. And again, my purpose of showing you all these players right here, and I can show you so many more players over and over that perform these kind of mechanics in softball, that is becoming more and more common. But again, the purpose of this video is to show you what is occurring now in softball, and I don't want you again to be left behind and start applying mechanics that are not in line with what I'm showing you in this video. Now watch what's going on with her hand path. You can see the bat, that blur that's going right around the corner of her deltoid. Elbow starts to work up to the height of the mouth, the barrel below the hands, again, barrel below the hands, and again, too many times I see a flat bat. Now again, if we go back to Sierra, what's going on right here, pay attention. She strides forward, the back elbow's working up, back, and behind her. She lands very symmetrical, very balanced at toe touch, and then as she gets into her heel plant right here, her back elbow's still up just like the other players. Her hands work around right around the corner of the deltoid, elbow starts working up to the height of the mouth. Now pay attention to her back foot. Watch what's going on with her back foot. What do you see? Just like the other players, pretty much the back foot is starting to slide forward. There's no squishing the bug, hitting off a front axis, barrel below the hands, hits to and through the ball with the extension working up in an orbit. And again, these are the mechanics that you're starting to see more and more of. And my goal is, again, to educate my audience, to help parents, to help coaches to see what is going on, because, again, I don't want you guys, you players, you parents that are trying to help your child to be left behind in softball, because I can see in a few years from now, 5 years, I'd say, that you're going to start to see that these mechanics, what I'm showing you, are going to be so much more common than you think. And if you're not applying these mechanics, you will be left behind, and you will not have the opportunities that a lot of players right now with very subpar mechanics are making it to a very high level, because there's not enough players out there that have great mechanics like the mechanics I'm showing you in this video. Now I hope this video has been helpful, and again, my goal is always to help my audience to be more educated in what goes on in an elite swing. I do online video analysis. Again, I have a 2-hour and 45-minute video that I do, and again, a free 20-minute video that goes along with it. And I hope you get it, because I do want more and more people to start to apply elite mechanics just like you see in the Major League Baseball. Thanks for watching. I'm always grateful for my audience, and I'm very appreciative of those of you who contact me on a regular basis, giving me updates on how well your child is doing and players are doing. Again, I'm very grateful. You guys have a blessed day.